Happy Tuesday, Rick.
It is Tuesday.
It's a little bit cloudy today. The
It is.
weather is starting to change a little bit
Feels pretty good,
soon.
right?
Yeah, it felt good not to be sweaty this morning after a
Hmm.
workout. Um, Also the time's going to be changing soon. Things are fall and in the fall season. Things are changing, and our topic today is so is the real estate market. The real estate market's changing now. How much of this change is seasonal? How much of this change is due to a million other circumstances? I don't know. But here's where we're at. Okay. We can't make sense of some things sometimes, but we can be prepared to how to deal with things, right?
Right.
So Stephen Thomas released a report last night. He's a quantitative um numbers guy. Let's see, his official title is, I think he's a quantitative scientist. Let's see. Anyway, Stephen Thomas, I subscribe to his reports, and he crunches the numbers,
Yep.
and very reliable. So
Hmm.
he said, I wrote down some points here. He said that there are 21% of houses that have been taken off the market recently because they didn't sell in the
Hmm.
spring or the summer. So sometimes 21, sometimes a percent is like a silly thing because you go 21% and it was two or something. But to break it down, so 636 houses came off the market in 2024 versus 2023, it was
Hmm.
356.
Wow.
Okay, so that's a big difference of the total inventory. And 34% of the houses that are on the market right now have had to reduce their price at least once.
Hmm.
And that is because inventory is increasing. The amount of homes that we have for sale is increasing. And in 2024, our average right now is about 3,700 houses. And last year it was 2,400 houses. Okay, so now we've got the numbers where our inventory is increasing. People are pulling their houses off the market if they didn't sell during the summer. And the people that are staying, well, 34% of them are lowering their price. So how do we stay out of these very disappointing predicaments? It's a whole exciting thing to get your house on the market. Maybe I should swap the word exciting with stressful.
Hmm. A
You're
bit of both,
going
right?
through your closets, you're donating things, you're packing things. It's weeks and weeks of preparation for a lot of people. You're touching up the paint, you're moving half your furniture out so your house looks more roomy. You've made great accommodations to make sure that your house looks the best that it can look. And then the photographer comes and all this fun stuff. And then nobody comes to see your house. I mean, that's completely disappointing.
Hmm.
So what you've got to do is make sure that not only does it look the best it can look, that it smells the best that it can smell, that you're not difficult to arrange showings with, that you're flexible, things can be done quickly without a lot of hesitation. But the most important thing is that your price reflects what you have here. Okay. So if you've got a house with a view, then your house is priced similar to the other houses that have a view. You're not going to increase the price significantly month over month. um we're not in that world anymore. You really need to take a real bird's eye and close up look at what's happening in your local market and pricing your house at market value or even a little bit less, so that you can drive the traffic to your listing and hopefully get more than one offer, so that you can really dictate the terms well on your own behalf and have a much smoother process, a lot less disappointment.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. So why is it you think, I've got an idea about this too, but why do you think that these sellers are taking their houses off the market? They're not getting offers. They're just overpriced out of the gate. They're sitting there, it's way
Yep.
too high out of the gate, right? So I think
Yep.
sellers think they they always think their house is worth more than the guy next door, no matter what the condition is, right? No matter
Yeah.
what's happening, their house is always worth more, and they want to shoot
Mhm.
for everything they can get. Then what I'm seeing, at least on my side, Megan, is that they put their house in the market at this really, really high price, thinking, well, I'll get multiple offers over asking price. We're good. And then they don't, that doesn't happen. And then they get disappointed.
Right.
They get
And
disappointed.
then, yeah, and then you're sitting there on the market for weeks and weeks
Yeah.
and weeks. And the way that our culture is of our real estate market is here is that things move quickly.
Mhm.
And that if you're a coveted home, if you have the things that everybody wants, you're going to get multiple offers. And so when people see your house on the market for 3 or 4 weeks, they think, what's wrong with
Mm,
it?
that's
And
it.
in
Yeah.
reality, it just the price didn't match the house. So pricing is like, it's very important. So that's why you have to hire a realtor who understands what's happening in the market so that they can give you the right advice on how to price things. Um, because you don't want it to be disappointed. Or let's say you have an offer in on a house and you're trying to sell your house contingent and your agent is not giving you the real rundown on how to price it. And now
Mhm.
you'll lose your dream house because your house hasn't sold. All of this is potentially very, very messy. So you just have to do your best. So I'll give you an example. So we've got a listing in Laguna Niguel coming up and it's in this really lovely neighborhood. It has a great view of the ocean and they're PUDs, so they're like
Mm,
townhouses.
mhm,
And but they're all different. Like some are single level, some are 2 bedrooms, some have an office, some have a view of the ocean. Some of them, their garages are not close to the unit because they're not attached. Some of them they're farther away and that sort of thing. And so guess what? The pricing is all over the place. And so what we've done here is that we've called everyone that sold anything in the last 6 months and said, how did your sale go? What challenges did you face? What kind of feedback did you get? Did you have any problems with the HOA? Like what can you share with us? And just to make sure that they were that all the buyers that came to their house were looking for a certain thing that we don't have or that we do have or
mhm.
whatever the situation is because they're so unique and different. So, we're compiling all the information because we've worked so hard. We've painted, we've staged, we've cleaned. I mean, this place looks like I'm 2 million bucks. And I don't want to overprice it because it's October. The next
Mhm.
thing I know, it's going to be Thanksgiving, it's going to be Christmas.
And
Like
there you go.
this is the last push of the year. And so we
Mhm,
really have to
mhm.
make sure that we make really good choices as far as pricing goes.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point because you do your homework. We know
Oh, yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know what you're doing. You do this full time, 100% all the time. And
All
we
the
deal
time.
with so many situations right now, and we have one that you know of that we're talking about where, gosh, I say this a lot, but I can't say it enough. People want to go to an agent that's, oh yeah, a friend of the family or some friend of a neighbor at work or someone they kind of like. I get that. I get that. But that's not going to get you to the finish line. That's not going to get you the best bottom line net to you. That's just not going to happen because
Yeah.
I talked to someone today. It's like, oh yeah, I do this for friends and family. I've done a couple this year. Ouch. Okay, well, that's nice, but how do you respond to that?
I know.
You and I know what's going to happen. We know
And
what's
I
going
know
to
you get
happen.
so frustrated because I know you
Yeah,
want to help your borrowers get where they
yeah.
need to go. You're trying to give them good advice. And that's the thing. Like if you're not in the market, usually, and I don't want to, toot my own horn here, but I know when Steven sends out these
Hmm.
reports, I'm already feeling what he sent out. Like it's already
Yeah, you
been,
know it already.
yeah,
You're
it's already
living it.
been about
You're
two
living it every
weeks.
day.
Yeah. And so I'm
Yeah.
like, ah, shoot, here we go. And so, yeah, pricing is so important because you don't want to sit there for weeks and weeks with no activity. It's just very anticlimactic. And, for some people, they have a mortgage on their house and, it's sitting there
Mhm.
empty without a renter and you're not getting any
Yeah.
offers. And yeah, it's just
Yeah.
kind of see. So that's what's
Well,
important. So it's fall, season's changing, the
mm,
market is shifting a bit. And so whatever area you're in, you need to make sure your realtor did a careful study of the comps and the trends in your area so that they can offer you, a really great idea for the pricing to attract as many people as possible.
True.
And
So true.
sometimes people say, well, I'll price it a little bit higher. I can always come
Mm-mm.
down. Oh my gosh, don't do that.
Oh, yeah,
Just
don't.
trust me. Yeah, just price it well
Yeah.
and get it done. That's what I say.
Well, there again, that's why you want to hire the pros in the business because you want to get the price right and get it done. Do a one and done deal, right? There's no point listing it and then doing two price reductions and everybody's unhappy and then you get a lower offer again because it's been on the market for 5 or 6 weeks.
Right.
That is just not a fun process. We
Mm-mm.
know that. So it's important to deal with the right professionals that know what they're doing, that are fully engaged, that do their homework, that can give you the right guidance. And then just as
Mhm.
important as that is when you get an offer, they know how to respond to the offer and how to write the correct counter and how to protect
Mhm.
you, the seller, and how to maximize the value of your property and not just give it away out of desperation because it's been 6 weeks. Let's just cut the price. Let's be done with
Yeah.
this. Wrong answer. That is always the wrong answer, but that's because there's a lack of preparation. There's a lack
Right.
of setting the right expectation. And when you don't do that up front, that's when this thing kind of goes downhill a little bit, and then no one's really happy at the end.
Right. Exactly. Very disappointing. So,
Yeah.
well, good, Rick. Well, that's all I wanted to talk about. Anything on
Yeah,
your
good
end?
stuff. No, the market, let's just real quickly. I mean,
Yeah.
same thing on my side. I live this every day like you do. I see the stats. I know the economic data. I know what drives this market. And look, the good news is rates are down. And I think rates will stay down for some period of time. Now, just know that rates never move in a straight line. Now, we know that the Fed got the discount a half percent this last few weeks. Again, I've said this before. That does not mean that the mortgage rates went down a half percent. The mortgage
Right.
market anticipates these moves well in advance of the Fed decisions. And so when that decision came down, if you look at the history here, that the rates were already down a half to 3/4 of 1% the day that announcement was made. There wasn't like
Mhm.
an instantaneous, now it's down. So,
Right.
but since then the rates have bumped up a little bit, not by much, but just that they've come off their lows. And I think that's going to stay that way for a while because now the Fed's maybe second guessing their decision to go a half discount point. They should
Right.
have maybe gone less. Maybe they won't do another discount hit the next meeting. So right
Mhm.
now there's a lot of things happening in the market that's creating some level of uncertainty, if you will. And so for
Right.
that reason, rates are stable. They're not volatile, but they're off the
Mhm.
lows they were, but they're still really good. So, the same thing with home sellers. You want the best possible price, and then with home buyers, you want the lowest possible rate, right? We have to balance
Right.
that. So
Yeah.
it's really about setting that right expectation to understand how that market works so that at the end of the day, you know what to expect, and it all works and everybody's happy. It's just
I love it.
follow the right guidance.
That's really good advice. I appreciate that. And hopefully people are watching this and getting educated and sharing it with a friend that's maybe about to
Yeah.
go through the process so that they can be fully prepared, as much prepared as possible. So
Yeah, much as I can, for sure.
thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Megan. Appreciate you.
All right. I appreciate you. And I'll see you next week.
Awesome. See ya.